Hi folks, Lee Pacchia here, and you are watching The Business of Law, where we talk about the challenges and the opportunities facing today's legal profession. My guest today is Lisa Hart Shepherd. She's the founder and CEO of Acritas, and her firm put out a really interesting survey that takes a look at in-house counsel and their feelings on diversity. She joins us via Skype. Lisa, welcome. Good to see you.
Good afternoon.
So you just released something called the Acritas Global Legal Diversity Survey. You spoke to over 1,700 senior in-house counsel about life and law. Three main takeaways jumped out at me, and they're all pretty interesting. First off, men make more money. We've seen that before, but it's confirmation of this trend continuing. Men tend to spend more in legal departments. And finally, the third one was really interesting. Diverse legal teams get more legal spend out of in-house counsel. We're going to attack them all separately here. But first, tell me a little bit about the survey. Why did you do it? Why did you decide to release it now?
Well, this is an ongoing survey that we do, and out of interest, we looked at how men and women had responded to the survey differently. And we found some interesting differences in the data. So then we thought we'd explore it a little more and add on at the end whether the team that they were working with on the law firm side was diverse. So that gave us more of a perspective of whether diversity actually makes a difference when it comes to the service that law firms give.
So let's start off with this notorious pay gap question. It's 2016 and we're still talking about men making substantially more than their female contemporaries. What do you make of this wage gap, and do you see it narrowing at any point in the near future?
Well, not in the near future. I think it's interesting that it's still here, particularly given that law is an industry that prides itself on fairness and equality. But certainly it seems that the under 40s, the gap isn't there. It's actually the women are paid slightly more. So it might be that it's a 10-year shift that's going to happen. You know, it's going to take that long for it to feed through.
Now, you also found that male GCs spend more on legal, something like 12% more than their female contemporaries. Why is that?
I think it's just that they look ahead in perhaps a different way. We've found that women are slightly more cost conscious and look more for value from law firms. So I think that just looking ahead, that they're taking a more sort of practical, pragmatic view of their spending, whereas men, you know, maybe more realistic, but certainly looking to spend more going forward. So it's more their intention in terms of spend increases rather than the actual spend being different.
And finally, this finding that diverse legal teams pulled down 25% more in spending than non-diverse legal teams. There's a lot to unpack here. How did you make this inquiry to begin with? How many legal teams did you look at, and how did you define diversity?
So we asked them, first of all, to rate the legal team that they were working with, irrelevant of diversity. They didn't know that that's what we were going to ask at the end. So we asked them on all types of aspects, from overall satisfaction to the value that was delivered, how responsive they were, and how high quality the technical advice was. And then after we'd asked that, we said, you know, thinking about all aspects of diversity, from gender, ethnicity, social background, how diverse would you say the team was? So we're then able to compare the results of the very diverse team right down to the not at all diverse teams. And that's where we saw the more diverse, the better the performance.
So it's not just race and gender you were looking at. You were also looking at economic diversity. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, we sort of prefixed it with them all, and then we asked them to tell us what diversity most meant to them. And gender did come top of the list, but ethnicity came next. We had age, nationality. We even had some more interesting sort of business perspectives. So they talked about having more industry experience and also having different types of legal expertise in one room, in one team. So having all that different perspectives coming together just meant that overall they got a better result.
It makes sense. Did you get any feedback on what in-house counsel thought about this issue and perhaps why they were interested in spending so much more on diverse teams than non-diverse teams?
I don't think it was a conscious decision that they were doing that. I think it was more the subconscious that the diverse teams are working better. But we found a real mix of views when we asked them about this question. Right from the diversity does not matter to me, this is ridiculous, political correctness on overdrive, right through to this is a really important issue. So I think it's know your client, know if this is an important issue. But also for in-house counsel, you know, we've proven that having a more diverse team is more effective, so they should care about this issue. It's not just about the social importance, it's also about getting a better result.
Really a fascinating study that you guys have put together here. Got to ask, next time around, what are you going to change about this survey? What do people have to look forward to?
Well, I think we're going to explore it in a lot more detail now, and we're going to go into those different areas of diversity to see what makes the real difference and perhaps where the biggest gaps are and where law firms really need to focus. And I think also we want to look into more how in-house counsel can perhaps change the demands they make on law firms, because they're quite a demanding bunch. It makes it very difficult to have any kind of work-life balance, which does affect the levels of diversity that law firms can actually offer or have or allow to thrive. So that's what we want to look into more next. How can we help firms to make those changes?
Very cool. And for people who want to take a look at the full report, where can people find it?
It's on our website, so on acritas.com.
Great. Lisa, thank you so much for your time today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
That's Lisa Hart Shepherd. She's the founder and CEO of Acritas. If you'd like to see more of the stuff we're working on, be sure to go check us out online. You can find us at mimesislaw.com under the Business of Law tab. I'm Lee Pacchia. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cybersecurity is a massively complex systemic issue. Both the private and public sectors are wrestling with it. These are threats that affect everyone around the world, from large institutions down to individuals with a credit card and a social security number. All of these issues around cybersecurity are complex in their own right, and the individual threats that we all face are as numerous as the institutions out there utilizing networks. Cypher is here to help you sort through these issues by covering the cybersecurity news of the day and bringing you the facts straight from the experts in the field. Just like the rest of the Mimesis Law network, Cypher will bring you primary source news pieces from the people who know it best. We'll help you sort through the constant stream of information to help you understand the challenges, the technology, the systems, and the cultures leading to the threats we're continuing to face. I invite you to join us here on Cypher, only from Mimesis Law. So we don't have hardline ethical professional standards on this stuff quite yet.
Well, I think the only standards that we have, I'll take first crack at it, are from the model rules, which say that if you know of something that may be malpractice, you're under an ethical obligation to disclose it. And I think most of us will not view this as malpractice unless we really haven't done what we're supposed to do,